Okay, we're back doing top 10 songs. Right now, we're going to feature the progressive rock band Glass Hammer, who comes from Chattanooga, Tennessee. They've made many, about 15 albums, if I'm not mistaken. They're still putting them out. They've been putting them out almost yearly to date. They have a great history, and we've actually seen these guys in concert a few times. It was a great experience. We had to go to Tennessee to see them, but it was worth it. Saw some great set lists, and actually on one of them got to see Salem Hill open up, so that was great too. The only thing that we didn't get to see was Walter Moore with them, and I think we'll talk about this during our top 10. But he was a big factor in their vocals and guitars up until around 2005. There was some fallout. He left, and they brought in someone new who, I really felt like was not a good replacement. But anyway, the video really shows Walter's incredible guitar ability. He just played beautifully. He just sounded wonderful, and his voice is incredible. And Babb and Schendel, Fred Schendel and Steve Babb, who are the founders, even though they're not great singers, I really like their vocals. I really think they sound very good, and they really come out good live as well. So, lots of good albums. Recently, there was a lot to digest. In the last, 10 years, they've just been putting them out and putting them out. To be honest with you, it's extremely difficult to keep up. So much to take in. But anyway, I'm going to leave it with Mike. Mike will do a little introduction, and then he will start his top 10. So, Mike, you're up.
Yep. So, Mark and I have just a huge history with these guys. They have most of their albums. Their albums are so varied. Probably one of the prog bands that has the most variety in there. I counted them 18 studio albums. Okay. Don't you agree? I mean, yeah. When you put them up against any band, that's the most variety. Mainly, some in the style, different styles throughout their history, from album to album. Not changing dramatically, but sometimes they did. And the fact that they use such different singers. So Susie Bogdanowicz's vocals, she had lead vocals on several times on albums. The period that we liked the best, the earlier years when Babb and Schendel had the vocals, they were great. John Davison came along, did 3 albums, and I think Carl was on 2 albums, 2 studio. Oh, and then a couple later on he was on. Yeah. So really different, but our history with them is just extensive because we got all the videos and just fell in love with the videos when they came out. The original Lex Rex one, everything about those first 3 videos were just great. Our trips down there to Chattanooga and in Nashville to see them were just that's incredible experiences for us. To see them live, to meet the band members, to meet them all, to meet the 3 girls, as well as first meeting Carl for the first time, Carl Groves. getting pictures with them. Um,
How about being the only ones to watch the sound check? That one,
yeah,
that
sneaking into the sound check. That was, man, oh man, I tell you, of all the bands that we've seen and so forth, I think this is the band that we have our most extensive history with.
Yeah.
Just of meeting them and seeing shows and having videos and having their albums and just really involved with. And they were, oh, geez, we saw them in Pittsburgh. How many times did we see them? 4 times? Four or five times?
4 or 5 times, yeah.
probably?
We saw them at Rhythm and Brews a couple times. We saw them at the Tivoli.
Yeah.
We saw them in Pittsburgh. We saw them at the university.
Yeah.
What's that university?
Yeah.
It's a private university where
Yeah.
Carl went to school.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, how can I not remember the name of that university?
Yeah, same here. Anyway, you know, I'm just thinking off the top of my head how much history we have with these guys, and it's been a great ride, a great adventure. My gosh, we've had so much fun and so much great music too. Just great symphonic. Their real symphonic era in their earlier years was just awesome. So with that said, I'm going to my top 10, and the first 2 are off of Paralandra, and I think if I had to pick my favorite song from them, it would be Time Marches On. I don't even know how to describe the song. There's something about it that just hits me. I don't know. Do you agree that that's just...
Yeah, it hits you. It definitely has a feel, and it's a chilling song.
Yeah,
it's
it's like none other. It's just got it's just so incredible. And also, especially this one is really incredible on the Lex Rex video that they do. The song Heaven. I think it's the last song on Paralandra, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
What a great song. The studio version isn't quite as chilling as the video, the live version was, but it's still great. A great song. Then we go to Lex Rex, and wow, what an album! Maybe my favorite of theirs. Certainly in my top 2 or 3. And the lead-off song has always been incredible, both live and the studio versions. I love Fred's vocals, and the girls' background vocals are just incredible on Tales of the Great Wars. Definitely one of my top 3 or 4 songs from them. Also, Further Up and Further In, an epic from them. Again, live, incredible. And lastly, from that album, When We Were Young, again, incredible live version of it, just chilling. But the studio version's great as well. But most bands, by far, most bands I prefer studio versions. But the amazing thing about Glass Hammer, the live versions of most of these songs are just outstanding.
Yeah.
And I guess the bottom line, when I come to think about it, they might have the best live versions of their songs than any other band I've ever seen or heard.
by the way, that concert first time we saw him, it was at Belmont University.
Yeah. What was that, like 2005 or
Five.
something?
I had to look it up. I could not remember it, but
gosh,
got it documented, but I forgot.
you remember how much fun we had at those?
Oh my gosh.
I mean, that was just, we were just like the most lucky people in the world to be going to these things and seeing them. I can't say enough about it. So then Shadowlands came along after Lex Rex, and two songs from Shadowlands that I are my top 10 are So Close So Far and Farewell to Shadowlands. Of course, that was Carl Groves on lead vocals. And lastly, a couple songs from The Inconsolable Secret. Three songs actually. The two big epics, A Maker of Crowns and Night of the North. And I think that's about as good as you can get with symphonic rock epics on those two songs. It really doesn't get much better than those two songs when it comes to just right on symphonic progressive rock.
Yeah.
And then Haven't Caught a Glimpse is a great song too, from Inconsolable Secret. Great song. So that's my top 10. Going to my honorable mentions, going back to Paralandra, I love the ballad of The Way to Her Heart. Can't forget Chronometry, which came out a couple years before Lex Rex. That's the first album I bought from them, and I bought it directly from Glass Hammer, and I fell in love with that album. Knew nothing about them, just what I had read at the time. It was right when it came out, and I just love that album. And I forget who did the lead vocals on that album. I think it was somebody
on which
on
album?
Chronometry.
Oh,
I don't remember who it was, and I don't even know who it was. It wasn't Walter, and there was another guy I think that was doing it, but it was excellent album. And my two honorable mentions from that are Kronos Deliverer and A Cup of Trembling. So moving ahead to Lex Rex, another honorable mention is Heroes and Dragons. That's a great finisher to the album, and another treat when we saw them live.
Yeah, it was kind of.
I think it was at Belmont when they did that.
It was at Belmont. It was kind of special. Carl Groves, who filled in for Walter Moore at the last second, basically had 2 weeks to learn all this material, and he just sat up on a chair and did an acoustic version of
That's what
Heroes.
I thought. Yeah, that's how I remember it. Yeah.
It was awesome.
Yeah, it was. Like I said, it was a real treat to see that, and I just love that song. From Shadowlands, I throw in Run Lizette, which is a great song as well. I think it's those first three songs off of Shadowlands are just fantastic. Then going on to Inconsolable Secret, The Morning She Woke is a great song as well. And there's two ballads that Susie Bogdanowicz sings, and the one I prefer that's in my honorable mention is Through a Glass Darkly. She just
what was the other one called?
Just a fantastic fantastic performance from her, both on the studio version and seeing them live. And Lyrizel was the other. Lyrizel was the other ballad that she sang, and it's just magic watching her vocals. Geez, one of my favorite singers as far as her voice goes. I wish she would have done more lead vocals, but we got to see her, especially in Pittsburgh, with lead vocals on stage, and she did a fantastic job. I can't say enough about her. And that wraps it up. That's 8 honorable mentions in my top 10. Take it away.
Okay, we're going to have a lot of similarities here because we have a lot of the same passions about the same albums and
same memories.
There's some. I got a couple differences, but in general, lots and lots of the same picks. We're going to go ahead and these aren't going to be in any album order or anything. A lot of these, like Mike said, a lot of these versions, quite frankly, are better live. I'm not saying anything bad about the studio versions, but after seeing them live, I definitely prefer the live versions. My favorite song from them, it just nudges out Time Marches On as When We Were Young. I absolutely love it from the first second I heard it. Next is Heaven, which that's from Paralandra, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And next, Tales of the Great Wars, which is the opening track for Lex Rex, which is an awesome track. And I believe that is... Now, does Fred do the lead vocals the entire time?
I think so.
I'm
pretty
it's
sure.
wonderful. Fred does a wonderful job. Next up, further in, just a wonderful song. They kind of switch off on vocals. The girls come in, which is Susie Bogdanowicz, Bethany Warren, and Flo Paris. They do just a wonderful job on the vocals, and I think that's where Walter's vocals come in too, and just kill it. There's several songs on here where he's just wonderful. When We Were Young, he was incredible on that too, and so was Steve Babb actually. Yeah. Steve Babb was incredible on that. Next is Cup of Trembling, which another Fred lead vocals, wonderful job. We got hooked on the live version of it. Just a great song. Wonderful live. Next, the Inconsolable Secret. We got the two epics, Knight of the North, Maker of Crowns. Like Mike said, just you can't, for symphonic progressive rock, I'd say, check those two songs out. And if you don't like them, you're probably not going to like Glass Hammer.
It's kind of those two songs are kind of they're close to the edge, or they're Supper's Ready.
Yeah.
I'd say that's, if you want to call it that.
Absolutely, and they're wonderful songs, and I have Through the Glass Darkly on here. And just wonderful. You fell in love with it the first time we saw that live as well at Belmont. Then Long and Long Ago, which is from is that from
That's from
is that from Inconsolable Secret too? Yeah. Yep. So I got 4 from the Inconsolable Secret there.
Yeah, I just barely missed putting that on there. It's a 10-minute epic.
Yeah.
But
Got a,
it would be probably my next honorable mention. It would probably
Yeah.
be next in line.
so we got a few differences here on the honorable mentions. First one is Heroes and Dragons, which are very easily, tomorrow it could be in my top 10. It's just an incredible song, which is the final track on not Paralandra,
Lex Rex.
Lex Rex, that's right. And then, and also great Walter Moore lead vocals live as One King, and I'm not sure if tomorrow I would put it in there or not, but I just remember it is just incredible vocals, and I put that in there. The next one is from an album called Three Cheers for the Brokenhearted, and it's a Susie Bogdanowicz kind of like haunting kind of tune. I kind of forgot about it. Lure of Dreams, which is a really, really cool song. It needed to be in there. I love it. It's good. Then from Shadowlands, Into Thin Air, which I had really high hopes for it, and it's still very good, and I still like it, but it kind of, I think the first half is definitely better than the second half of the song, but I still like it a lot. Carl does a great job on the vocals. So Into Thin Air.
That's Culture of Ascent. Right?
Culture of Ascent. Okay.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay, and I
that's
got
that by the way is a 19-minute epic.
yeah. I got Run Lisette and Having Caught a Glimpse, and those are both from Inconsolable Secret, correct?
Run Lisette is from Shadowlands.
Shadowlands Band. I'm getting mixed up here. I should have had notes.
There's
but
so much information.
Yeah, I know. Run Lisette, Having Caught a Glimpse, great tunes. It was great to see them live. Just epic tunes in their history. The last 2 honorable mention songs are from an album we haven't even talked about, and it's more mellow stuff, but it's still good songs. And On to Evermore and The Mayor of Longview. I really like them. I always have liked them, and again, they're not one of their more featured songs or songs that they're known for, but I enjoy them, and I put them in there in my honorable mention. And
off of their third album, On to Evermore.
On to Evermore, right?
Yeah.
Right.
1998.
Yep.
So just to break in here real quick, one thing I forgot on my honorable mentions is from a recent one from 2016, the Valkyrie album. A lot more symphonic. They kind of brought back their symphonic style a little bit more on that album, and the title track Valkyrie is really, really a different kind of song, but there's something that really strikes me about that, and I forgot to mention that in my honorable mentions. It's a real cool song, really different than any other song I've ever heard, so I definitely had to throw that in there.
Yeah, I think it's no disrespect to the more current stuff, but I just think, our history, we have, there was a period to where we had just been into the band 2, 3, 5, 6, 7 years, and that's the stuff that really has stuck with us over the years. And sometimes newer stuff takes a while, and like you said, these some of these more recent albums. Were they listed here? No. Does it mean that we don't, we're just not fans or anything? No, it doesn't mean that at all.
No.
It doesn't mean that at all. It just means that they haven't been given enough time to overtake these incredible songs. I mean, we between Mike and myself, I got like 18. Mike has 16 or 17. So when you got 25 to 30 songs from a band who plays a lot of epics, that's a lot of music, and they've done a lot of music over the years. So never know, down the road we could do it again and things could be quite different.
Yep, absolutely.
Anyway, so that'll wrap things up. Great band. Everybody needs to check them out. If symphonic progressive rock is your thing, I say check it out. Very well worth it. Glass Hammer from Chattanooga. Thanks for watching, and like it, and let us know what you think.